What the? Okay, it's not a real dog, thank goodness. Know Thy Dog is with us this morning. Julia and Chris Moffat from Know Thy Dog. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Come on in. All right, so this is very interesting to me because it's something, even as a previous dog owner, I never ever really thought of, and I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't keep it top of mind, but dog first aid is important, and pet first aid, I imagine, overall.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And are you seeing an increased interest in this?
Hugely.
Yeah.
Yeah, hugely. More and more people nowadays want to be playing a more active role in their pet's healthcare. They just can't be reactive. We need to be proactive. So yeah, we're getting a good.
I like that.
Response.
Now, dogs, just like humans, have all the same parts. They're just in different places sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
And the way that we administer first aid is different as well.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
95% of the anatomy and physiology is the same, but there are some unique differences.
Okay, and the other thing is that we talked about before you even touch the dog, some of the things here that help you out are sometimes things are not that big a deal, and you can avoid actually spending a big vet bill to find out, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what are the number one things people are concerned with when they come see you or things that have happened to them in the past?
Choking is the number one priority that we have found lately in our dogs. These dogs will eat anything from an 8-inch steak knife to a tennis ball.
Yeah.
So and everything in between. So that's normally the number one issue for pet owners is they either that or they eat their food too fast. Maybe dogs that wolf their food down. So instead of dealing with the potential of choking, we put an object in their food bowl so they have to go around it, and that slows
nice.
their food, their eating down.
So there's those tips as well.
Yes, yeah.
All right, so poisonings must be big because dogs sometimes, as we mentioned, eat anything as well.
They do. They do.
You have a good story about friends of yours who gave you a call, actually. Their dogs had eaten fire starter or something?
Yeah, the fire starter. They were out camping on a weekend, and they went away to the cafeteria. They came back and they found their 3 dogs had eaten. One of the dogs had eaten all this fire starter. They'd have no idea which one it was. So yeah, with a simple procedure is 3% hydrogen peroxide, 1 teaspoon for every 10 pounds of the animal.
And there's no avoiding it, right? The throw up happens.
No, it does. And what you do too is once you've they've ingested the peroxide, then you walk the dog around for about 15 minutes, and that will get the foaming up, and then the dog will vomit. If the dog doesn't vomit, you can induce, you can peroxide them again.
Okay.
No more than 2 times.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, and you also have a time frame. So if you've gone out and it's been 2 hours, you have like about an hour time frame, an hour and a half. So if you know what your dog's ingested, then you can induce vomiting.
This is the kind of expertise you get from Know Thy Dog, the first aid course. Let's go through some of the things I want to look for. One of the first things you teach?
One of the first things we teach is to protect yourself.
Okay.
And then your dog.
Okay.
Danger for your dog, for yourself, then your dog. You don't know if the dog's been in a fight or whatever. So you have to always remain calm and assess danger for yourself as the
Okay.
dog.
Okay. So if I want to take the pulse, for instance, I don't just check like a wrist, right?
Well, there is a pulse in
there is a pulse down there?
Okay. The best pulse is the femoral pulse.
So if now what you're doing right now is giving me the simulation of a pulse, and that's interesting. It's right in the armpit, almost like
the thigh meets the body.
Right, and it really is pumping through while you do that. That's interesting. So you get that.
That's the strongest pulse that you'll find on your dog.
All right. Obviously, the dog's going to give you a signal. You know your dog very well.
You do.
Hopefully. You'll know that something's wrong, right?
Yeah, and you know, when your dog has a heart attack, the last thing you want to do is to be feeling for the pulse for the very first time.
Right.
You need to know your dog head to toe, know where the pulses is on your dog, so that when something happens, you don't have to question.
I like that. Now, worst case scenario here, your dog is non-responsive and not breathing, right? So, check for a pulse, it's there, but they're just not breathing. Next step, I imagine, would be CPR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we want to assess, because the number one problem we have for our dogs is choking. So when you come across an unresponsive dog, you have no idea where to start. So when I move my cup here for a second here, When you come up to the dog, then your dangers, your determining level of consciousness, hello, hello, hello. You're just trying to elicit any kind of response from the animal. You put your hand down, you open the airway, you look, listen, feel. You can pull your tongue forward. You look, listen, feel for any respirations. You can use a mirror and check for any breathing from the snout. Any fogging on the mirror can help you identify that the animal is breathing.
Okay.
So very, very important to make sure that there's no breathing whatsoever. Okay.
Right.
So once you have established there's no breathing, you pull the tongue forward, you gently squeeze on either side. You attempt to administer a breath. If the breath doesn't go down, you realign the animal's neck, you attempt to ventilate again. If that doesn't go down again, then you go into the choking where you isolate the diaphragm, and it's 5 thrusts.
Really?
To try to force the object down. Now what you want is either to get the object out or the object goes down into one lung. Okay. Either way, the dog's viable and going to be at the vet with an alive dog.
Right.
So once you've cleared the airway, either way, you want to make sure you assess for the pulse, because the dog can stop breathing but still have a pulse.
Right.
Okay. So if the dog has a pulse but not breathing, then you can continue artificial respiration.
Wow. And you can see this is a full course that you offer. Anyone can do this, right?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
you come into the home and do it with my dog?
Yes.
Right on your dog, right in your own home.
So you
That's
learn
fantastic.
your dog's vitals. You learn everything about your own dog.
Yeah.
And you can then carry through with the care.
Any size dog too, huh?
Any size dog.
Okay.
From
well,
small to large.
I like that. All the information has been on your screen. It's knowthydog.com.
Yep.
Right? Look at me just reading your shirt. It's that easy.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, that's a great idea.